Playboy is too pedestrian, but that doesn't mean we can't use Playboy to point people to the cross. Welcome back to Wretched. Russell Moore writing a very insightful article explaining why we are seeing a culture that now says Playboy, just pictures of naked women in a magazine, too boring for us. Russell Moore does a little sexual history through the Bible that could help us say to our culture that is awash in pornography, awash in perversion, awash in confusion, and say, there's something better for you. Here's what Russell wrote. Why does the Creator pronounce it not good that Adam should be alone? Why is it that God gives to the primeval man a woman formed from his own flesh and blood, for whom he is to leave everything to become one flesh? And why is it that rebellion against the Creator always manifests itself in rebellion against the order of human sexuality? That is precisely what we see in the garden. Sin, gotta cover up my nudity. When we see a culture that is moving away from God, is it not inevitably linked somehow to the issue of intimacy? Why? Let's see what Russell Moore wrote. The Apostle Paul tells us precisely why. Because human sexuality points to a grander cosmic mystery that has now been revealed in these last days of human history. Now brace yourself for this. This might sound a little radical, so just slow your roll before you click away from us. Russell Moore wrote, Paul points to the male-female one-flesh union of Genesis and argues that human sexuality is patterned after the archetype of this mystery, the one-flesh union of Christ and His church. In other words, that act that a man and woman does is a picture of the intimate, profound, amazing relationship we have with our God, ultimately fulfilled when we are glorified in heaven. Russell Moore writes, this is why sexual revolutions turn out so boring. This is why the sterile, casual, prophylactic-clad vision of sex in our culture is so dull. This is why pornography is so numbing to the soul. It's because in the search for excitement, men and women are not really looking for biochemical sensations. In fact, they're not ultimately looking for each other. They're searching desperately, not for mere sex, but for that to which sex points. Something they know exists, but they can't identify. So they try this. That didn't work. They try that. That didn't work. And it never will unless we point them to Jesus. Russell Moore said, they are looking to be part of an all-encompassing cosmic mystery. They're looking for a love that is stronger than death. They can't articulate it, and they would be horrified to know it. But behind all their sexual frenzy, they're looking for a glorious Messiah, Jesus and His glorious bride, the church. And that's why you'll never find an image naked enough to satisfy what you're looking for. But we can point them to it. Let's not just condemn perversion, but let's use it to point them to something greater, to something better, to the Savior.